The Skullfingers, issue number 3, of Cracks and Crumble. The creek is real, Artemis said to the Pantheon that had answered her summons. She ripped a dimensional hole open to enter an artificial construct of the Hollow. I thought we were told the scientists emphatically no, Loki said as he stretched a white-gloved hand over a map detailing the core aspect of Morn. In an instant, they were all gazing at an enhanced model of Avalon. Where is Professor Russet? The Fates will not take kindly to the hair resisting their own decree. The Admiral ripped him in half and used the remains to activate his project in order to silence his friend's others' projects, Tiamat said, as she leaned against a pillar with her arms crossed under leather draconic wings. There is something dangerous at work with the mortals. It may require the Creator, the Fates, and the rest of the Pantheon need to concur if we are to intercede, said Samuel Clemens as he stepped into the room wearing a fencing outfit similar to Loki's. And since the one vote is still on a day of rest, I think we can all agree that mucking about begging for some other way is foolhardy. Now forgive an old fool, but what might this creek be? One of Poe's work? Older, Artemis said, stepping forward. She had short auburn hair and wore light brown leather over tan leggings and a similar tunic. The creek is one of the beings that purportedly came from a time before the known gods of the Pantheon. None of that has ever been proved outside of the three ancients currently locked down in the pocket aspects, Loki said. Artemis believes that there are more than the vaunted three. The Fates really won't like it if you're right. She ripped a tear to get into the canopy of a dimension that's only exists in scary bedtime stories for mortals, Artemis said. The Hollow is real. The creek is real. Let me hunt her. Absolutely not, Tiamat said. You are way too close to this. The heroics can handle this. They handle the others. She will kill them, Artemis said, shaking her somewhat simple longbow at the dragon god of wind. Why do you put so much stake in the heroics? They have lives, loved ones, heart. They are not pawns or playthings. No mortal should be as such. What gives us to throw them away like trash? Tiamat rounded on Artemis and with clenched fists and pointed to a nearby bench. Sit, she said, roaring, fire licking at the corners of her lips. Artemis sighed and placed the bow behind her quiver before taking a seat. My brother stepped down from being a god to become a heroic. He married one. They have a daughter, my niece. If you think I have no urge to help, think again. Then why tie my hands? Artemis said, leaning forward. What happened the last time the gods interfered was pure insanity, Tiamat said, placing a hand on the huntress's shoulder. The weave itself corrected everything. The Tarask almost wiped away the core aspect. You watched from the sidelines then, cried over all the mortal souls that were crushed. We don't intercede because the universe itself has a way of tipping the scales away from vast amounts of power. Watching is horrid, Artemis said. What are we to do if not help those that believe in us? I wish I could do what your brother did. Then you'd be leaving us with one less voice of reason, Loki said. Ever since the Legion of the Tarask invaded, there are those in the Pantheon being quite vocal about being even more strict with our edicts. They have floated that we leave the aspects, let them flourish without our steadying of the course. We can't let that happen, Artemis said. Without us, there can be no new aspects, or even stability for the prisons created for the mortals that have taken truly dark paths. And that is why we need you, Clemens said. When last the Pantheon met with the Fates, 7 of the Pantheon voted against the other 5. Since then, one of the 7 has gone missing while another stepped down, Tiamat's brother. Deadlocked is still better than the other. We must bide our time. While the heroics shoulder our burden, Artemis said, looking at the map of Avalon. I can only hope those stuck within that false hollow are up to the task. And with that, I will see you all in the near future, and thank you for listening.